So, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. We're all in this for one thing, wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube subscribers, One Wrestling fans tuning in worldwide. Andre Corbeil, your official Impact Wrestling, OneWrestling.com reporter, right here at the home of the legendary icon, the one and only Bill Apter. Yes, wrestling fans, we'll see you at the matches. Now let's roll into our February 27, 2015 TNA Impact Wrestling One Wrestling report that came to us from Manchester, England, to a sold-out audience, a ruckus crowd, and I love the Maximum Impact Tour. I really, really do. Comment below and let Andre Corbeil know, and OneWrestling.com know if you love this tour as well. As we started off the show with an amazing in-ring promo featuring TNA Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, who called out the champ, the Destroyer Bobby Lashley. Now, he highlighted to Bobby Lashley the importance of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but furthermore went on to blame Bobby Lashley for doing absolutely nothing last week to help him in that 20-man gauntlet main event match to determine this week's number one contender for that championship. But the champ responded to Kurt by saying, "This was your fight, not mine." Now in a nutshell, Angle says he hopes that Lashley still is champ after tonight because he's not going to help the champ for one, and for two, he's coming for that title at the end of the day. Now, the BDC interjected and stood at the top of the ramp, informing Bobby Lashley that indeed he did need all the luck he can get tonight. As the fans chanted, you sold out," to none other than Samoa Joe, who said in the mic spot, "Bobby Lashley, you owe the BDC, and it was the champ, yes you, who turned your back on us." Now, he promises a beatdown tonight to Lashley, and basically vows that MVP will become the World Heavyweight Champion at the end of the night. As MVP grabs the mic and highlights the togetherness of the faction, pointing on a very important point here, that Bobby Lashley indeed stands alone. Now, would Bobby Lashley stand alone tonight? We're going to have to wait and see come main event time, but I'm going to digress on that one. We then rolled into our first match of the evening as Ethan Carter III and Tyrus took on Mr. Anderson and Rockstar Spud in a tag match. As I gotta say it, Ethan's obsession to shave Spud's head has resulted in the shaving of his bodyguard's head last week, and would Ethan Carter be next? I'm going to digress on that, and let's get into this match. It was a good match with steady action that commanded the full attention of the Manchester crowd, and indeed the viewers watching at home on Destination America, as Rockstar Spud and Ken Anderson pull out an impressive 1-2-3 win, and like I said, a good match. But Ethan Carter was lucky here. He was lucky enough to escape his haircut that's probably inevitable, fans, with the help of his bodyguard Tyrus, who pulled him out of the ring. We then panned in backstage after the commercial break to a furious Ethan Carter who vowed to still cut Spud's hair tonight. Would it happen? We're going to have to wait and see, so stay tuned, wrestling fans. We then had an update reel, basically catching fans up on the BDC Bobby Lashley storyline, which I gotta be honest, I like it a lot. I like where it's gone, and from the looks of it, I like where it's going. As MVP looks to capture the title in the main event tonight, but like I said, we're going to have to wait and see. But in all actuality, it's Knockouts time, wrestling fans, as the champ comes out and addresses Awesome Kong, stating that if she wants her title, come out and get it. But that's not what we got. We had Gail Kim come out and try and talk some sense into the champ, her friend, and tries to talk her out of what she's basically trying to get into here, stating that Kong's the toughest woman in wrestling history, and you don't know what you're getting into. But her advice fell short on deaf ears, and Gail eventually ended up leaving. Now, we get the lights dimming out, and Awesome Kong appears in the ring and basically takes out Taryn, much like she did in last week's episode, laying her out with ease. We got an implant buster and Awesome Kong posing with the Knockouts title. And Big Ray said it to me earlier today, and I have to agree. I think the newly revamped Knockouts Championship looks absolutely beautiful. One thing's for sure, I can't wait to see the climax between Taryn Terrell and Awesome Kong, and this is what women's wrestling and divisions are all about, and I'm going to digress on that. We then had the arrival of Austin Aries, yes, the greatest man who ever lived, who was asked backstage by a reporter his thoughts on tonight's main event, as he said that he's going to go put on his gear because he thinks he has an idea for the perfect end to tonight's show, as he holds up his World Heavyweight Championship briefcase. We then rolled into an Intergender match as Brooke and Chris Melendez took on Robbie E and Angelina Love in the washroom break of the night match. Now, I'm not saying anything negative on how talented the lovely Angelina Love is, but I'm just not a fan of this Broman-Angelina Love union. Anyway, in a nutshell, Robbie ends up stealing the win after pushing his ex-girlfriend Brooke off the top rope and hooking the leg for the 1-2-3 win. And this was the only non-exciting segment of the night, in my opinion. Now, fans, I want you to comment below in the comment section and let Andre Corbeil, let OneWrestling.com know if you agree with this statement. We then had a great segment with Gunner backstage, motivating Kurt Angle. Now, if you guys remember back a month ago, it was Kurt Angle who awoke Gunner. Now, this was a 180, wrestling fans, as Gunner came in, slapped Angle across the face real hard to wake up the greatest wrestler in the world. We'll have to wait and see if this was indeed sufficient enough to wake up Kurt Angle, and if he will be involved in tonight's main event match. We then roll into Austin Aries in an in-ring promo, teasing a cash-in tonight to an absolute ruckus crowd, all to be interrupted by who? Samoa Joe. Again, we got you sold out chance, you sold out chance. As Joe says, you won't have a chance to even cash in tonight, because at the snap of my fingers, I'll have trained assassins out here in 1 minute flat, but I'm going to digress on that. As the two ended up battling back and forth in an impromptu match, a good match that saw a few tiny botches from Samoa Joe, but it didn't factor in at all or take anything away from this match at all. I really enjoyed this match, wrestling fans. It was fast-paced, full of action from start to finish, and the fans were right into this every second of this match. Seeing Austin Aries go over after hitting a sweet 450 splash, winning the battle, but ultimately not winning the war, as the Beatdown Clan interjected again, with Aries ending up going through a table. Then we had MVP, basically backstage conning Eric Young to get him involved in the main event match tonight against Bobby Lashley. Now, would he? Only time will tell, wrestling fans. Only time will tell. We then had two boot camp contestants out for an impromptu match, or actually it was a scheduled match. We had Rampage Brown and Noam Dar, who I honestly can't understand a word of, but that's another story. Now, they're cut off by Bram, who basically destroys them easily in a nutshell, and we followed that up with Grado coming in to interject too as well, to no avail, as Bram ultimately destroyed him as well, laying him out like a darn pancake. Proceeding to call out Magnus, who wasn't there in Manchester tonight. And one thing's for sure, wrestling fans, I gotta say, and I'm interested in hearing your opinions on it, I really like Bram's character. It's everything tough, crazed, and what an individual like that is all about. So nicely done, TNA, and absolutely keep it up. Now, it's time for your main event of the evening, wrestling fans. Before I get into this, I would like to add one point to you guys and hear your opinions as well. Now, I think it's really nice to see SoCal Valerie back in TNA. I think she does an absolute better job than Christy Hemme does. Not taking anything away from the lovely Christy Hemme, because she's multi-talented, and we all know that. So, that's what I had to say, everybody. Comment below. I'm very interested to hear your opinions. And furthermore, Andre Corbeil's going to digress. Now, the bottom line is that I couldn't wait for tonight's main event match, because I'm a fan of Bobby Lashley, and I'm a fan of MVP as well. But the deck was stacked against Bobby Lashley tonight, as the BDC was ringside for this contest. Now, Gunner was right earlier in the night that, how can I say it? Hey, basically, Gunner was right. Hopefully Angle will be out, and stay tuned for this. Now, we had lots of outside interference in this, back and forth action that saw many opportunities arise for MVP throughout this match to get a win. Now, we ended up getting a ref bump and cue in the steel chair interference from EY, Eric Young, but, we get the return of the It Factor Bobby Roode, who was quick to end that attempt from EY. But the BDC wasn't done yet until, indeed, Gunner was the one who came out to help the champ. No Kurt Angle. Now, we got a close call with MVP hooking the leg and pinning Lashley in the ring, but the ref, who had been bumped, was still out. Now, the ref recovered a little too late here, came in for the 1-2-3 count, but to no avail. Then the voice of the people, yes, Drew Galloway, cleaned house for the champ, who gave him the room to basically hit the spear for the 1-2-3 win, retaining his TNA World Heavyweight Championship, ending an absolute solid episode of Impact Wrestling from Manchester, England, in the UK. Now we're going to have one more Manchester show, and then we're going to cap off the tour with 2 London shows, and those are usually the climax, so I can't wait, wrestling fans, and don't miss them. Now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to OneWrestling.com. My long-awaited return for these Impact Wrestling reports. I'm going to be here every week, every Saturday. We all know that Canada gets these Impact a day late, so I'm going to get these watched, viewed, and reported for you guys as early as I can every Saturday right here at OneWrestling.com. Now you can follow me at Andre_Corbeil on Twitter. Follow me at Andre Corbeil on YouTube. Of course, subscribe to One Wrestling Video right here on YouTube. Follow One Wrestling on Twitter. Follow Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. Follow Bill Schuyler at You Got the Show. Last but not least, my Can-Am Wrestling Show co-host, my compadre from the South, the one and only Big Ray, who you can follow at Big Ray Show as well. Follow both of us at Can-Am Wrestling on Twitter, and we love you guys for it. Now, we have a Can-Am Wrestling Show contest where we're asking you, the fans, to basically comment on episode 57 in the comment section of the Can-Am Wrestling Show and suggest a final segment for the show. Yes, we're still going to keep our hot seat segment for when we have famous guests on the show because, hey, it's great cutting promos. But we don't want to do it every week. We want to keep it a little bit fresh, and we want you guys to basically pick the new segment. So Big Ray and I, we're going to choose 3 suggestive segments, and we're going to eliminate one each week until episode 60, where we announce the winner of the new segment. And the winner of the new segment will get to come on the Can-Am Wrestling Show for a 5 to 10 minute spot and announce the new segment. Because we're interactive, we love you guys, and tried, tested, and true, we do this for you. Quality is the best, and it's the only way to go. Now, I also want to add that I got hired on as an in-ring announcer for RCW Wrestling up here in Canada. It's very exciting, and you can tune into my YouTube channel for full matches from RCW Wrestling. And, of course, wrestling fans, there's going to be lots of interviews coming right here at OneWrestling.com, over there at Andre Corbeil, and you know what I say at the end of every show. We're all in this for one thing, wrestling, and we'll see you at the matches. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and take care. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. We're all in this for one thing, wrestling.